First things first, I'm going to heat up the water to be able to melt the honey. One tablespoon. Two tablespoons. Pinch of Celtic. It's the best honey. Hey, Jay. I know I told you I was going to record it, but when I stream, I can flip the camera around. Figured it'd be better in case I needed to. If you make this at home, do the lemons first. I just realized, because if you have a juicer like this, sometimes the seeds end up in the jar. So it'd be easier to get the seeds out if the honey wasn't in there. Not the end of the world, but I'm going to be efficient, right? It's getting close for this next one here. The water sounds like it's ready already. It doesn't have to be hot, certainly not. So as long as it's warm enough to melt the honey, we're good. And there wasn't a lot of water in the container, so it was quick. So long story short, Jay, diverticula happens because the liver is supposed to produce bile, and bile is stored in the gallbladder or the bile bladder. Same name. And when you eat, or at 2 p.m., there's an ultradian rhythm that the body goes through. So at 2 p.m., the body releases bile. It's supposed to release bile at 2 p.m., between 2 and 3 p.m. It's like a tide. It's like high tide. Also, when you eat, the body's supposed to produce bile, or release bile, excuse me. The liver makes bile, and it does that by filtering the blood, and then all the junk that comes out of the blood ends up in the bile. Now, if that works well, food only remains in the intestine, like as poop, for 12 to 24 hours. If you're in perfect health, you eat something, 12 to 24 hours later, you're pooping it out. And that's good, because if not, what happens is the material, it starts the process of degradation, rotting. You know, if it's a carbohydrate, it turns to alcohol. If it's a ferment, I should say, it ferments. If it's a protein, it putrefies. And if it's a fat, it turns rancid. Over time, they call it a 10,000 headed monster, basically, because there's so much nerve fiber in the intestine. There's actually more of a connection between the intestine and the body than the brain and the body. And that's easily provable because there's more nerves in the intestine than there is in the spinal cord. If you just think about what that means, there's more nerves in the intestine than the spinal cord. That means there's more connection to the body from the intestine than there is from the brain. So there's so many things that can have a root cause of this, what they will call bile occlusion. Bile occlusion is when the liver and bile bladder, she's actually too hot, shouldn't be steaming like that, but oh well. The liver and the bile bladder have these wax-like deposits. They call them stones. They call them gallstones. They're actually a wax. And if you look at the liver, it looks like a reverse root system. So instead of a root, it's a hollow, but it's the same shape. If you could just imagine what a root system looks like with the trunk is where the liver opens up into the bile bladder or the gallbladder, and then as the root goes down, and starts to get smaller and smaller, like branches kind of, that's inside the liver, but it's hollow. It's called ducts, hepatic ducts, and they get filled up, and the bile bladder also gets filled up with these wax-like stones. And you can look them up online. Just type in gallstones and type in olive oil and lemon liver flush, and type in those keywords, and you see what comes out when you do this flush. It's these green wax-like stones that block bile flow. What happens when you don't have bile flow? Food stays in the intestine longer than 12 to 24 hours because bile is the primary force that is responsible for intestinal motility. You can have fiber, but if there's no bile, it's just sitting there. And by the time you poop, you've already eaten again. So you end up with a situation which most people have where it's just poop on top of poop. And the intestine in the lower right quadrant and the lower left quadrant is the major areas where people have these symptoms of diverticula, because there's nowhere for the food to go. You're eating grains and you're eating flesh, and those two things just compact in the intestine, and it just piled up over the years. And the intestine, because the food is also very acidic, because bile is alkaline, And so the intestine is thinning from this acidity. It's causing the intestine to stretch and thin. And that's how people get hernias. It's just melting from the inside. So this drink is going to help diverticula because it's got baking soda, which is a an element. The sodium bicarbonate is an element in bile. It's an alkaline salt, and alkaline salts are produced by the liver and in the bile. So until you're able to actually flush these stones out, I'll recommend doing this drink several times a day. I was trained that you could do this up to 10 times a day or more because this is a seriously missing element in most people's program. And even though people think lemon is acidic, it's actually an alkaline forming fruit. Lemon is very alkaline. It's one of the most healthiest things that you can get in a regular supermarket is lemon. And you might notice over the first 3 days, there's one seed in here. Oh, got it. You might notice over the first 3 days, nope, one more seed in there. You're pooping. This program that I'm going to teach you, David Jubb's nutritional fasting, liquefies the elements in the intestine. Should I drink this at a certain time or whenever? You should drink this first thing in the morning, before and after every meal, as a snack, as a dessert. This is the primary thing that you can have as a food that will help you. Because castor oil is helpful, it has a laxative effect, but it's not a food. Castor oil actually stops nutrient absorption. It's good in a pinch. It's helpful in a pinch. And it will give you some relief. It will give you a great relief, actually. Maybe you should start with that. Matter of fact, I'm going to take some castor oil too, so you're not alone. I'm going to take some castor oil right now. I'm going to wash it down with this stuff here. This is ginger powder. I'm jazzing it up for you. Lemon and ginger go well together. It's about a quarter of a teaspoon. Okay. So now I'm going to shake it up, and this is the base. Now I'm going to make two versions. I'm going to make the fizzy and the iced fizzy. The fizzy is an empty glass. What you do is you take a third of a teaspoon. And you're going to pour the fizzy juice right on top. Reason why you put the baking soda on the bottom is because as soon as the lemon comes in contact with it, it does like a science experiment and starts to foam up, like the science experiment volcano. It's going to foam up. So there's two ways you could do it. You could put the juice on the bottom and then drop in the baking soda and then stir it. I don't like that because you got to stir and then drink, because if you don't drink it fast enough, it's going to shoot up the top. So I like to just make it one thing. You put the baking soda on the bottom. You got your juice here. You pour the juice into about here. It's going to fizz all the way up and you drink it. Let me zoom out a little bit. Wait for it. Ribbit. That's the way I learned it. Call it a fizzy shot. I like this version better. The iced fizzy. Similar, except you put ice down first. It's a lot of ice. You don't have to put that much. Baking soda on that. 1/3 to 1/2 of a teaspoon. Reason why I like this way better is because it doesn't fizz up as fast. The ice, because of the temperature, I guess, slows down the reaction. And you end up with like more of a sparkling beverage. Yeah. Yeah, you drink it, foams up and you drink it. It's fun, you can turn it into a thing. You go chug, 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 chug. Honey's good. The right type of honey. You could do it with lemon juice and apple juice. You could do lemon juice and orange juice. You could do lemon juice and coconut sugar. You could do lemon juice and maple syrup or maple sugar. You can adjust the recipe in different ways. It's very versatile. So I pour it right on to the thing, and it doesn't fizz up as fast. See that? Oh yeah. So good. If you need help putting it together, let me know. Looks really refreshing. Yep, it is. It's amazing. You can make a big batch in advance if you want. Like I could put this in the fridge and just have it whenever. If I don't want to drink it all tonight. Your kids will love it. Make it fun. You go chug, chug, go team. My kids used to love when I made homemade lemonade. Basically the same thing without the baking soda. Melt some honey, add the lemon juice. Ooh, brain freeze. Baking soda. Baking soda is so useful. There was an Italian doctor named Simoncini. Well, not was. He's still alive, but they tried to ruin him because he was spraying tumors. He was spraying tumors with baking soda solution. And it's so incredible. If you watch this, it's hard to find the video. I got to find it. But basically, the tumor, when they do surgery on a tumor, they can't find where the tumor ends and the body begins. So they cut around the tumor. They don't want to miss anything, So they cut out a lot extra. But what he was doing, he was doing a small surgical incision, putting this tube in, spraying the tumor with this baking soda solution. And I was literally, I gotta find this video, but literally watching the skin pull away from the tumor like this, almost like a pimple. Like if you can imagine the inside of a pimple being pus, this this tumor is just opening up and then just falls out, and he picks it out. It was incredible. But that's baking soda. It's really amazing that how much it can help with. My dad, my dad, he's had spurts of doing a little bit of this program. He's got issues with Dr. Jubb because I think he is jealous of other male role models, and in particular, Jubb. He's like one of the top, if not the top person that I look up to in the world. But I've got my dad to take some fizzy shots, and his mood actually changed instantaneously. Like instant good, wouldn't say good mood, but better mood. Reminded me of the time when I gave my grandma white chocolate, and I saw an improvement immediately in her brain function. Anyway, I know I say this a lot, but if you ever have any questions, you can message me on Twitter. You can message me on my cell phone. I'm on my phone all day, so wherever you send a message, I'll get it. There's a seed at the bottom of this. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right. So that's it. Ooh, cold now. Bro. It'll be a miracle if I could turn this shit around. Yo, damn, look at that. If I got rid of this from fasting, my kidneys heal up, I'll look like a kid again. Look at the difference. That's a one-handed prayer. God save me. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. I'm going to go to bed now. It's after midnight. And I got to babysit at 9. I'll probably get up at 7 anyway. 7 hours of sleep. It'll have to do. What are you doing up, Jay? Get to bed right now. I'll talk to you soon. Hope. Good night, though.